Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Laura Hook. And as Carol said, I chair the nominating committee of the board of directors of the College Alumni Association. Now, Doug Simon knows me because I had him as a professor at Drew, and I've pretty much been involved since I graduated in 1984 with the Alumni Association. So I don't think they're ever going to get rid of me. I'm kind of stuck doing it, but I love it because I'm a proud graduate of Drew. I have two younger sisters who graduated from Drew. Two of us got married at Drew and had our reception in Mead Hall. So Peggy's involvement in Mead Hall, very close to my heart, because I had an amazing wedding there. But today we have an amazing recipient who's very deserving of this award. And I'm going to give you a little perspective about the Alumni Awards, and then I'm going to talk more specifically about Peggy. These awards go back to 1956, and our first award recipients were John Cunningham and Philip Burdett. And Philip Burdett got the Science Award, and John Cunningham got the Alumni Award for Liberal Arts. We now have 8 awards and to alumni, and we just added a new award called the Friend of Drew Award because we wanted to be able to give recognition to staff and friends of Drew who've been wonderful to the university and have the Alumni Association present an award to them as well. So now we have 9 awards that we give out. So imagine that award ceremony in person. And I love this job of giving out the awards to the alumni because when we start reviewing our list and we get hundreds of nominations, you just read amazing, incredible stories about each and every alumni and their lives and what it was like to be at Drew and what they've done with their careers and their personal lives and their adventures. And you are amazed. You're like, I can't believe all these people from Drew did all of these amazing things. And it's very hard to choose the recipients. And we struggle and we put them on, okay, we're going to give this one this year and this person next year because there really are so many deserving alums. So it's really one of the things that no one ever objects to working on preparing to select the Alumni Award winners because it really is such a happy occasion to read all these incredible stories. And we thank you for nominating the people that you all nominate because we might not know about some of the things they're doing because people don't always tell us all the amazing things they're doing. So we really appreciate all the nominations. What I want to do is get to Peggy because today is her day. This is all about her. And the service award that she's receiving is for the following definition. It recognizes alumni of outstanding character who have demonstrated exceptional and sustained loyalty to Drew by making significant contributions to furthering the university's missions and goals. And there's a much more detailed version of some of the things I'm going to tell you that Carol has posted, I think in the chat, but it's also on the Drew reunion page. So Peggy, when she was at Drew, was secretary of her freshman class. She was a political science major, which near and dear to my heart too, because that's what I was a major. And she participated in the London and the Washington semesters. And she was an academic assistant to Dr. Robert Smith during her senior year. And she was also a dorm counselor. So she obviously was very busy when she was at Drew. And after she graduated in 1965 with honors cum laude, she got a Richard King Mellon Fellowship from the Department of City and Regional Planning at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. She graduated with a Master of Regional Planning degree in 1967 and spent the next 4 years as Deputy Director of Planning at the Urban Redevelopment Authority in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Peggy returned to Drew in 1971 with her then husband and Drew graduate, Dr. Ed Domber, who was beginning his career teaching at Drew University in the psychology department. She was very active in the Faculty Wives Club, and while raising her 2 sons, she spent 6 years as executive director of the Chatham, New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. And then you went back to work full-time in 1984 as an assistant vice president and director of the advisory council at the Chatham Trust Company. And on the day of the Mead Hall fire in August of 1989, which was the year my youngest sister was starting at Drew, because I remember how devastated everybody was by that Mead fire, You came to campus, Peggy, and you assured then interim president Scott McDonald that despite the fact that all the records had been destroyed and couldn't be put together in that fire, that you would make sure that the staff would get paid and all the financial dealings and requests that the school had would be reviewed very quickly and timely by the bank. And that must have taken a huge weight off of the university to know that they had not just that aspect, but an alum taking care of them and looking out for them during such a devastating time for the university. You really made sure the business of Drew could go on because of those actions, which may have seemed so simple to you back then, but they really were huge to the university. Then from 1992, because you didn't stop giving to Drew then, to 2006, you served on the board of the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey, which is located on our campus. And you were president of the board for 5 years, and you were extremely instrumental in the successful 7.5 million capital campaign to expand and renovate the Old Bound Theater, now called the FM Kirby Shakespeare Theater. And that is another thing that Drew's very proud of, your involvement, and is very proud of on campus. And we want to thank you for all those things that you've done for our university, because without them, we wouldn't be in the situation and the state we are today. And your service has really been incredible. And I want to ask everyone to kind of raise a glass or applaud or clap, but let's honor Peggy, congratulate her on a job well done and a well-deserved award.
Thank you very much, Laura, for your intro and for the advice you gave me when we first spoke. And I promised to stick to the time limit that was recommended. I also thank Carol for her work to set this program up and for personally delivering the beautiful award to my home. I wanted to show it to you because it's really gorgeous, and I will proudly enjoy having this around me. I also want to thank the College Alumni Association Board for honoring me with this award. And most especially, I want to thank my college roommate and dear friend, Kathy Henry, for nominating me. Kathy is the epitome of service, and I've benefited from her example throughout all my life and from her friendship. And Kathy's on this call now, and I'm grateful to her. And thanks to those of you who are here, your presence means a great deal to me, both today and throughout my life. And I am looking forward to following up on the idea of raising a glass and celebrating together when we can finally do that. Drew was not my first choice for college. In fact, it wasn't even on my radar at that time. But when I was put on the wait list by my first choice, one of my parents' friends, who was the president of her sinus college, suggested Drew University and said it could be a perfect fit for me. I'd never heard of Drew, but I agreed to an exploratory visit. The beauty of the forest fulfilled my vision of what a college campus should be. After my student-led tour, I met with Dean Solwin in Mead Hall, and that was my first connection with Mead Hall. At the conclusion of that interview, he offered me immediate acceptance, even though he had no application from me and no records for me. And believe me, that was exactly what my bruised ego needed at that point in time. I committed right then and there to attend Drew and have never looked back since. It was one of the fastest and best decisions I ever made in my life. My intro to the political science course taught by Bob Smith convinced me to become a political science major at Drew. And the meetings at Bob and Lois's home were memorable, as was the opportunity to be his academic assistant. The other major influence on me at Drew was Julius Mastro, not only through his courses, but also as the leader of Drew's second year of the London semester program in which I participated. I was fortunate in that program to be one of 5 students in the group who were able to attend the London School of Economics. And as an aside, I'm pretty sure that I was once in an elevator with Mick Jagger, who also attended LSE at that time. It was another unforgettable Drew experience. And I'm amazed at the creativity of Drew to sponsor and provide those programs of London and Washington semester, because they were just instrumental in so much of the direction of my life. At the conclusion of that Michaelmas term in London, Julius led our group on a 4-week tour through Europe, and thus began my lifelong obsession with travel. So that experience that Drew provided me for learning, living, and then traveling in other countries opened my eyes and heart to the larger world. As I look back on my education at Drew and my time at Drew, I feel that my commitment to ethics, to being concerned for others, and to giving back to the people and communities I was involved with through work or where I lived was reinforced and expanded by my Drew education, my professors, and the people I connected with at Drew, both as a student and later as a faculty wife. It's just an amazing incubator for growing people and making them their best selves. So what an experienced environment Drew provided for my growth and the expansion of my thoughts, my actions, my lifelong commitments, and my friendships. And as you mentioned about the fire at Mead Hall, that was such an emotional experience as we all stood there in front of Mead Hall and watched the smoke and the flames and thought about how that central heart of Drew was at risk for being lost. So I was grateful to be able to be a part of that. And I was especially happy to be involved in activities that have benefited Drew, including the Shakespeare Theater of New Jersey. And the ability to make that asset on Drew even better as a state-of-the-art theater, which benefited not just the university, but its students in the theater department, as well as introduced many in the surrounding communities to the Drew we all love. And I think it's helped to give us that bridge between the college and the community, and to make people evolve of what's behind those walls at Drew. So I thank you very much for this. I appreciate it. And my love for Drew is enduring. Thank you.